Hi, everybody. Tom Van Hoy with Pitt State Baseball coach Matt Murray on this edition of the PSU Baseball Insider Show. Gorillas won 3 of 4 MIAA games at home last weekend over Northeastern Oklahoma. Split on Friday, a 4-0 win, followed by a 10-4 loss. Then won a pair on Saturday, 7-3 and 6-3. Now 8-12 overall and 7-9 in the MIAA. Scheduled this week to play a doubleheader with Drury at home on Wednesday, starting at 3. And then continue conference play this weekend at home against Washburn. 4 games starting Friday afternoon at 5. Doubleheader on Saturday, 1 and 3:30, and finish Sunday with a single game at 1. Washburn 9-8, 9-7 of the MIAA, off a 4-game split with Fort Hays State last weekend. Pitt State opened MIAA play this year on the road at Fort Hays and did the same. Split 4 games. Gorillas also split with Emporia State in conference play and lost all 4 at Central Missouri before winning 3 of 4 from Northeastern State. Here's Pitt State baseball coach Matt Murray.
Well, that's right. We didn't, once again, Central Missouri played really well, and we didn't, and it was apparent. I thought you could dissect, in the Central Missouri series, you could at least dissect games 1 and 3 when Tyler was on the mound and Nate was on the mound. We do a couple things differently, and score could be changed a little bit. Game 2 and 4, we just didn't compete like we should. Certainly with throwing strikes and playing defense. So and then same thing to be said at Newman. We just didn't compete in the strike zone, and we just defensively we just didn't play very well, and credit to our own players to come back home for a 10-game homestand and started off in the right direction. We feel like with a good opponent in Northeastern State, and we'll continue to practice and prepare for what we have coming this week with Drury and Washburn.
Hey, Coach, before we talk about the wins over Northeast and take a look ahead, and I think you and I talked about this before, the change in conference play this year with 4 games. And you always talk about college baseball. Most teams usually have a good game 1 starter and hopefully solid game 2, and then I don't know, it gets, I don't know if dicey is the right word, but then you never know from that particular point on. How difficult is it, 3-game series versus now 4-game series in the MIAA? Starting pitching, I'm asking about.
Well, yeah, I mean, it certainly changes the mindset for recruiting, and certainly in our situation where we have 4 MIAA games on the weekend, and then we play a midweek. So now you're asking for 5 starters to go out and set the tone for the day and for the game. And I thought we did that well this weekend. Game 1, Tyler Thompson, and Game 3, Nate Arnold, and Game 4, Court Lesmeister. 3 of our 4 starters did an outstanding job of setting the tone for that afternoon game, and really didn't walk anyone. We're competing down in the strike zone, and I think Nate may have given up 2 walks, but Tyler and Court didn't walk one guy. So it's important that we continue to develop our pitchers here, and that we continue to recruit pitching. Certainly, as you had mentioned, with the 4-game series.
Well, when you look at that first game, the shutout of Northeast, 4-0, and you mentioned Tyler Thompson, pretty good, I'd say. 7 innings, no runs, 3 hits, 10 strikeouts, and didn't walk anybody. And I guess it helps, too, when you can get off to a good start, get those 3 runs in the first inning as well.
Well, Tom, that's right. That's I don't know if we've done that all year in terms of offensively, setting up an offense early, and it proved to be enough, scoring 3 in the first. But Tyler, once again, Tyler was outstanding. He was outstanding. He was able to throw 2 pitches for a strike, and third one, his changeup when needed, if needed, and he was just as the numbers show, 3 hits and 0 runs, 0 walks, 10 strikeouts, and he just made it very, very difficult on him. And I felt like he pitched very similar to that against Emporia and even Central Missouri. And fortunately, offensively we were able to score some runs early, and maybe allow him not to press so much because it certainly goes hand in hand.
Yeah, how much pressure do you think sometimes there are on your starting pitchers if you struggle offensively and knowing, and if you give up a couple of runs, it may be too many?
Well, I think as much as you would not for it to be, I think it's natural, and that's something that we've kind of have battled, throughout the course of the year anyway, and that's not either scoring enough runs early or giving up too much runs early, and the pressure just kind of builds and builds, and unfortunately you see players kind of getting out of what we're trying to do, and ultimately, the approach changes, and that's not what we want to happen. So I think it's natural that as the game goes on, the pitcher can certainly start to feel that a little bit. But the nice thing is we've played a bunch of those thus far, and I think it's going to prepare us for the second half and the playoffs.
Well, game 2, I guess, on Friday got away from you a little bit with Northeast. They get 16 hits and win it 10-4, but I guess you got to feel pretty good about when Matt Stanley came in for you and gave you a good, strong relief back of George Brandecker. No doubt.
Matt Stanley being a local player, freshman, and he proved to come in outside of, we obviously walked too many with 5 walks there, but he was able to put up some zeros on the scoreboard and give our offense at least a chance to come back. And Northeastern, I think we ran their starter out after the third, and they brought in a freshman as well, and he was really good. And that stretch of game, from the 4th on with him in was we just didn't do a very good job offensively making an adjustment, but their pitcher did an outstanding job, I felt like. So yeah, Stanley, he continues to show our coaching staff and his teammates that he's getting better. He's getting better, which is exciting.
With 4 games series in the MIAA, and let's say the starting pitcher runs into some trouble. That happens. Happens occasionally. You don't want to happen very, very often. But from your standpoint, do you have an idea? Do you have a plan on when that occurs? Who you want to pitch? Because if you pitch somebody in, game 1 of a doubleheader, they may not be able to come back for a while for you.
Mm-hmm. No, that's right. Yeah, we feel like we do anyway, and we're still trying to learn our guys in a bullpen. We would think that we have going in the mindset of 1 or 2 long type relief arms, and in that specific game 2, Stanley was kind of that thought process to where if we needed to extend him, we certainly would, and kind of get a feel for if he would be better and maybe in the starting role in the future. And so he certainly did that. And but I think we try to have 1 or 2 arms that we feel like could go long relief for us.
Tom Van Hoy, Matt Murray, Pitt State baseball coach, taking a look back at the 3 games and the 3 out of 4 that Pitt State won over Northeastern last weekend. We'll take a peek ahead at Drury on Wednesday and Washburn this weekend in a couple of minutes here. Game 1 of the second doubleheader on Saturday. You mentioned Nate Arnold. He gets the win. He's 3-1, 6 innings, 3 runs, 6 hits, struck out 6, walked 2. Offensively, now Cody Ball, how about 3 for 4 in RBI, scored 3, and all he did in game 1 was go 2 for 3, 2 runs, 2 RBI, and then in game 2 he also had a big day as well with 3 for 5 and 2 RBI. So it seems like what a weekend he had at the plate for you.
Well, he did, and first of all, Nate Arnold set the tone for us for the day. He was able to to throw 2 pitches for a strike and throw a third one when needed. And Nate Arnold's very competitive. Once again, another local player. that we were able to bring in this year, and just did an outstanding job competing. He's a baseball player, and Cody Ball, of course. Yeah, I tell you, we're excited about the things that he's done personally to adjust his swing, and more than anything, adjust his approach, his plate awareness. He's made a he has made a major overhaul on that, and there's one guy that just continually is in our indoor hitting, and that's him. He has done a wonderful job working. It's something that he just continue to try to improve, and things are paying off for him.
Do you do much video work?
Gosh, Tom, we do not. It's something we certainly have availability to do. Sometimes we're a little concerned that it could be like a stick of dynamite, and players think about it too much. So, but if a player were to approach our coaching staff or myself and want or need video, we certainly would do that and be able to go over it with them. But we don't do a lot here.
We also got we had three other players that had 2 hits for you and a couple of RBIs from Kyle Dickens as well. So it looks like you got contributions in that game up and down the lineup for you.
Well, certainly we feel like our offense at least is starting to get a better feel for what we're wanting to do from an approach side of it, and I thought that was indicative of 2 of the games anyway. We had more walks than we had strikeouts, and I think overall the entire series we came close. We ended up, I think, striking out 19 times as an offense and walking 13. And we talk about winning the freebie war, having more walks and hit by pitches and strikeouts, and we haven't been doing that. And hopefully we'll continue to get that figured out, because obviously our on base percentage needs to jump. Our run score needs to jump as an offense, but we saw flashes of it this weekend, and my thought is we'll continue to build off of it.
You mentioned earlier, Court Lesmeister in the final game for you, 6-3 Pitt State win. 6 innings, 1 run, wasn't earned. A couple of strikeouts, didn't walk anybody, but also Ryan Mckay came out of the pen for you. Had a second save, was good. 3 innings, 2 runs, 1 earned, 3 hits, 2 K, and 1 walk. So that appeared to be a pretty good combination for you pitching-wise, and you came up with a nice win to finish it off.
Oh, no doubt. Court did an outstanding job. Once again, 0 walks is what really stands out to me, and the fact that, as you know, just being a freshman, his mound presence and the way he was able to compete in the strike zone was wonderful. And we did. We finished up with Ryan Mckay. We brought him in a little earlier than what we typically would, but he's kind of a lower slot arm and very resilient, and so Ryan is one of the most competitive players that I've been around, and it's nice to see when he comes in, because he's going to compete, and so those 2 did an outstanding job. I think we ended up giving 1 walk on in game 4, and just gave us a great chance. And then offensively, we faced what I think would be their number 1, Northeastern's number 1. They threw him game 4, Shamball, and our offense just kind of battled in there, and fortunately found ways to score runs to get the win.
Tom Van Hoy, along with Pitt State baseball coach Matt Murray. As we do this, you're scheduled to play Wednesday against Drury, and you'll take a high of 60.
Yeah,
set to go at 3 o'clock. And we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier about midweek games. Do you try to get somebody in there to give them some experience in a midweek game, or what is your approach, I guess?
Well, I think that's initially our approach is to try to figure out that potentially a 5th starter, someone that might be able to bounce to the weekend if we have a weekend starter that might be struggling, but also helps build the staff for the postseason. When you get in a situation where it's a double elimination tournament, certainly in a regional tournament where it's 6 teams, and so it's nice to be able to have that maybe that fifth starter there for postseason. For us going into tomorrow, we're really going to look into George Brandecker, who in game 2 only threw an inning in the third, and he's certainly on a few days rest, so good chance that he'll be able to start for us and work on getting his fastball command and that second pitch back.
All right, you got Washburn coming up this weekend, and Friday at 5, that doubleheader on Saturday, 1 and 3:30, and then hopefully finish it off on Sunday at 1. What kind of team is Washburn?
Well, that's we certainly had Washburn here at home, last year, and so it'll be exciting to have their club back. I know that they're going to pitch it. They're going to pitch it really well, or they have, and I'm not sure if Brett Ash is back healthy for them. I know he was early. If he's healthy, he's one of the better arms in our conference, and so we're excited about having Washburn here. I know our players will, being on spring break, this gives us an opportunity to practice today. Obviously, have a great game tomorrow, and then practice again on Thursday in preparation for them. So it's the weather's great. Players are away from class for a few days to kind of rest up, and so we're excited about this week.
That's Pitt State baseball coach Matt Murray on this edition of the PSU Baseball Insider Show. Again, the Gorillas are scheduled Wednesday at home with Drury, a doubleheader starting at 3. Then play 4 this weekend at home with Washburn in conference play. A single game on Friday, doubleheader on Saturday, and finish with 1 game on Sunday as well. I'm Tom Van Hoy.